We're now ready to start programming the controller. So we've programmed our SIM, we've programmed the port, now we're going to program the controller. I'll click on my Edit Controllers here on the side panel, and I'm going to hit the plus down here in the grid window to start programming the controller. Now, the description, I'll program my, let's say, my main floor controller. Now the software wants to know, is this controller communicating directly through a port to reach the SIM, or is it connected to a parent controller? Now, we don't have any more 16-door controllers that would be like a secondary controller on a master. What would be a child controller communicating to a parent controller would be like a PIM or a hub. An input-output board that's connecting to one of the channels on a controller. Those would be secondary controllers talking to a parent. So the controller that we're programming, the 16-door VRCNX-A controller that I have here, that's going to be communicating directly through the port to reach the SIM. When I click the expand button here, we really need to watch our tabs. This controller is going to be communicating through the SIM port, and there is my now SIM port. Okay, now what type of controller is this? I'm going to hit my expand, and what we're programming now is going to be the VRCNX-A0 controller. I have a controller here, doesn't have any of the input-output boards connected to the controller. This is going to be an RCNX-A0. That's what we're going to program. Now, site code sets. If I was going to apply a site code set to this controller, there's our site code set, all ready to now connect to the controller. For this class, we're going to leave it as no defined site codes. Now, location. Where is this controller? Right, this is the main floor controller. Maybe it's in my server room. I'll leave it there. Callback sets, if there were modems on this board. The holiday set, I'll apply my holiday set here. Now, this is the local time zone of this controller, right? The locale time zone. Where is this controller located? This controller, I'm going to say, is in the same time zone as my server here, Eastern Time. But if this controller was maybe connected to, was maybe in a building over in California, this allows us to say, to set the time zone where the controller is. So if we give someone access 9 to 5 Monday through Friday to their doors in California, it's going to be 9 to 5 Monday through Friday in their time zone where the controller is. Now, the IP address of this controller, so I've got this controller still set at the default IP address. Port number 3001. I'll enable encryption here, another level of encryption on the controller. All this is grayed out. There's no phone number that we need here. This isn't a modem board. This isn't a controller connecting to another controller, so this is all grayed out. I can now save this here. Now, this message is telling me that we have a holiday set assigned to this controller that has holidays in it that span multiple days. Back a long time ago, there were holidays. The holidays back in the day were only allowed to be one day. A holiday was a one-day period. So if we were doing a holiday like Thanksgiving that lasted 2 days, that would have to go in 2 separate holidays. Now we can say the holiday starts at this time, ends at this time. This is just telling us to make sure that our firmware on the controller supports holidays that can span multiple days. As long as your controllers are newer than like 15 years old, or the firmware in there is newer than 15 years old, you should be good. I'm going to hit yes here. There's my now controller. Now, if I program this correctly, I should be able to now start my SIM on this computer. So I'm going to go now to my SIM here, double click to bring up my SIM. If I program this correctly, I should now see communication here on my network. So let's see if we get communication. And it looks like it's coming in. I can double click on this to make sure that I am communicating. So right now we're still at unknown, so we'll see this here. Now I'm going to do a double reset on this controller. This controller's been used in many different training classes, so I just want to delete the main memory on this controller, and I want to delete anything in that non-volatile memory. I want to send a brand new database to this. So to do that, I'm just going to hit File up here, and I'm going to do this reset. But I'm going to do this reset twice within 3 seconds. So File Reset, File Reset. That's going to send a reset to this board to reset the main memory and the non-volatile memory, while leaving the IP addresses and any of those settings that we set up when we logged into the actual controller, leaving those settings alone. It's just deleting the memory.